Hello everyone, I am Rajita. I handle Sociology optional classes at Shankar IAS Academy, and today I am here to give you a few tips on Sociology as an optional subject for Civil Services examination. First of all, I'd like to start with what is Sociology? Sociology is generally referred as the scientific study of the society, and in this subject we study about how sociology as a social science evolved from multiple other social sciences which were there before sociology came into existence, like say what aspects of economics, political science, history, philosophy, psychology, anthropology, etc. have contributed in creating sociology, which in short is a concord or an ideal blend of these multiple social sciences. So if I have some awareness on sociology, it helps me in better understanding the other social sciences. So next, let's come to what is covered in the sociology optional syllabus. The sociology optional syllabus is divided into two papers, and the first paper deals with world sociology and the second paper deals with sociology from an Indian society perspective. The components covered are more or less the same, it's just that the perspective is a little different. If you see the topics which are covered, one is the evolution, then how did sociology evolve itself as a social science, then we have what are the methods that we used in studying sociology, what are all the contribution of the different thinkers who have made sociology as a subject. How is that class, caste, gender, race, ethnicity exists in the society? What are all the opinions that people have on this? How does politics affect the society? How does economics affect the society? How does religion affect the society? Say, how does family, marriage, kinship exist in the society? How is it in different social groups? How is it in tribes? How is it in modern society? We have an overall understanding on how the different aspects of change that the society has gone through has affected the people and how the people also bring about the change. It is more or less the same thing which is covered in the paper 2, which is Indian sociology also. Next, let's come to say, what are the skills that I need to have if I have to take sociology as a subject? If you see, one important skill which I need to have here is the ability to communicate what I think as words in terms of sentences, and I should be having this skill of converting these words and sentences from what I think onto the paper. So we need to have some amount of writing skill. It need not be in say bombastic or a very high level English. We should have this ability to communicate in say simple full sentences. This I think is quite a very important skill if you need to take up in any humanities subject. Otherwise, reading, comprehending, the availability of the multiple textbooks that we have to aid us in the subject, it's quite similar to any other subject. Next, let's come to say who can take up sociology. There is generally a myth associated with this. It's said that only humanities students can take up any humanities optional. I humbly beg to differ from this particular opinion. For example, if you see, I am an engineering graduate and I chose sociology as my optional, and I have done in this optional quite well for say at least close to a decade. So anyone can take sociology if you have the inclination, if you think you have the skills to write, to communicate what are the changes which are happening around you and what are the changes that you want to see in you as well as in the others. If you can communicate this in terms of sentences, I think that's the only thing which is required. So a student from humanities, a student from medical sciences, a student from other sciences, a student from any arts and science background, a student from engineering background, anyone can take sociology. It is quite a very easy subject provided you have the interest to learn this particular subject. So next let's come to Say, if I choose, say, sociology, what are all the things that I need to consider and how is this going to help me in my civil services preparation? So let's start with the syllabus. The syllabus is quite very precise, and if I'm going to study for the first time, it hardly takes 3 months for me to go through the entire syllabus, and we'll need at least a month to do a revision. So if I have 4 months, I can adequately start right from scratch, build my base in the optional, and then I can expose myself to some amount of questions, write and see how I'm able to communicate what I have thought in terms of sentences. So with say 4 to 5 months of time, anyone can pick up this particular subject. Syllabus is very easy and it's quite very interesting. Next, let's come to, do I have enough of books both by foreign authors as well as by Indian authors regarding this particular subject? Definitely yes. We have a wide variety of books which help us, and we need not read too many textbooks. In a few books that we read, we will be able to pick up this particular subject. And of course, we have the institute. Institute is providing us the materials. So if we go through the material and have one round of reading of the books, it is definitely going to help us to pick up on this particular subject. Next, let's come to the important question. What about the clearance rate of sociology as an optional? If you see the 66th UPSC annual report, it has been mentioned that sociology is one among the preferred optionals among the students who have made it into the final rank list, and last year we have had a clearance rate of 10.62% from sociology as an optional subject. Next, what are the other advantages that I have if I take up sociology? One end, if you see, in the general studies paper 1 that we have for civil services main, 1/3 of the questions that come are from sociology. Added to that, in the essay writing paper also, we have at least 2 or 3 topics which come in from the humanities background. So if I have a base in sociology, it will definitely help me to study and also to write answers in the general studies as well as in the essay writing. Next, let's come to the next round. See, when I go in for my personality test, which is obviously the final dream, which is going to take me one step closer to entering Labasna. So if you take, the importance of sociology comes in for any student even from a non-sociology background, because almost every single time, every single student gets at least 2 to 3 questions on social issues and what is that they want to change in the society and how are they going to handle those kind of changes. These kind of questions are generally asked in the personality test or the interview stage of the civil services exam. So in all, we do have a wide variety of choices available, and in sociology, we do have a good foundation that is helping us to not just attempt the different stages of the civil services exam, but also to help us to develop a very different perspective towards what we see in and around us, and it helps us also to become a better individual and a better bureaucrat also. Thank you for your time.